shut up, you listen to my monkey mouth. There's a companion when you got pun on the Kanoa route. Hopped in a portal and got in a fight, Elias knocked him out. Bow, Naruto fighting style. Bow, UFC he tapped out. Bow, we win, we get crowned. Monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the Ones Who Woke Up podcast. This is Joshua, as always, and today with me I've got...
My name is Jesse.
Where can they find you online?
I'm on Instagram, Mr. Mellow.
Yeah? And you're on Facebook?
And I'm on Facebook, Jesse James Paul.
And what are you out here doing these days? You're doing stand-up stuff? You're kind of pursuing that on the side?
Yeah, I do a little stand-up just for fun.
So,
you know.
where's the like next thing you have going on?
Next thing I have going on is in San Antonio. I think it's called the Reggae Bar.
Okay, dope.
Yeah, that's Friday night. Doing a show there. And then Saturday night, I'm going to be up in Dallas at Hyenas.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. So you've got 2 shows lined up in the next no time.
Yeah.
So you're staying busy with it.
Staying a little busy, yeah.
I mean, that's, like, I know people who are trying to, like, make it their whole grind and they're not staying that busy.
Right, doing comedy on top of my job, I'm staying busy.
Yeah, it's like me doing podcasting on top of running my businesses. So
right.
I feel you, bro. I'm able to empathize pretty emphatically.
Cool.
But so, I love your mushroom jacket. You're, like, clearly in theme for today's podcast.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that was what I was doing. It's just my favorite sweater. So.
Fuck yeah, dude. Well, I like it a lot, bro. It's dope.
Yeah.
But so I think it's safe to assume that with the mushrooms being on your jacket, mushrooms are your favorite psychedelic.
Yeah, they're probably my go-to.
Yeah.
You know.
What was your like first like fall in love with mushrooms experience that you had?
Oh man, I haven't even thought about that. I don't know. My first fall in love with mushrooms.
Yeah, when do you think it clicked for you? We were like, this is that shit that like is gonna be my.
All right, the first time I fell absolutely in love with them. I don't know what year it was, but it was the year that Rogue One came out.
Okay, so
Star
like
Wars.
Like 4 or 5 years ago, something like that, maybe 6 years ago.
Maybe like 6 or 7.
Yeah, I get man. We're
I don't know.
We're
What
old
was it?
times.
2015.
Bro, I don't know. I'm
16.
Bro, I
don't know. Anyways, it was Rogue One. It was Christmas Day, which is my birthday.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, and I'm born on Christmas Day. And every year for Christmas, my family gets together, and they do a reenactment of the nativity scene. And I got to dress up like a shepherd or a wise man, and we read from the Bible. And it's like I just don't want to do that.
That's some real Bible thumping.
Yeah,
shit,
I just don't
bro.
want to do that this year. I'm like 30-something years old. I don't want to do that. And I'm not going to go to Utah to meet you guys and
so we can do dress up
nativity scene. So I'm just going to stay home this year. And I had Christmas Day by myself, and I just drank some mushroom tea and went and saw Rogue One. And I got one seat, and I'm in between 2 very large people. Smashed in between. And I'm tripping out on 4 or 5 grams. I'm just like, man. As soon as the movie started, I didn't give a shit. They're my 2 new best friends, dude. I didn't care.
Well, bro, everybody's vibing. Everybody's happy to watch the movie. You're high on mushrooms. You're just like, we're all one, bro. Whatever. Doesn't
Took an Uber
matter.
to the show. It was great. Yeah.
So like,
that's probably when I fell in love with them and made them like. That's what I started doing kind of consistently.
So how effectively does like taking a pretty potent dose of psychedelics make like consuming entertainment more enjoyable? Like how much doper do you think Rogue One was on 4 grams of mushrooms?
That's my favorite movie. Like
right?
After watching it like that, it's it's definitely my favorite Star Wars movie.
Dope. It's a good movie. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
I can't.
I mean, a lot of the newer ones are so kitschy and just like made for children.
Well, so like there's definitely like essence of Star Wars that's missing in some of them, like in moments where like they would be saying some like dope Zen or Buddhist philosophy shit to like make you really have something to chew on. Now there's like a fucking one-liner,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like more being like smashed through the like copy cut and paste process that like
I think it was the first movie that Disney did with Star Wars, and they did a great job with it.
I'll be frank, I've enjoyed all of them. I've enjoyed every single one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I've just gotten less and less interested as each movie comes out.
I'm certain they feel like
maybe
more
it's just
and
because
more.
I'm older, or maybe it's just because it's more just geared for children or whatever. But I don't know. That one, some reason, got me. It was probably because I was on a large amount of mushrooms, and I was just like, oh my god, this is fucking serious, bro. Like, this is before the fucking, you know.
It's like, this is how it all started,
this is how
man.
it started, dude. Like, yeah.
Dude, the same thing happened to me whenever Infinity War came out. Infinity War. With Thanos.
Oh, yeah.
When Thanos wins.
Uh-huh.
I also went and watched it high on several tabs of LSD at the movie theater on my birthday.
Cool.
And that was an epic experience.
Yeah.
The thing that was immersion, like that even high on LSD, and I think maybe if I wasn't so high on LSD, it wouldn't have broke my immersion, but because I was, it just like struck me as kind of awkward when I saw it.
Yeah.
Was like the big fight scene when like they had the like armies lined up. Like it looked like something from like the 1800s or like the 1700s, like fucking like armies of people with spears lined up.
Yeah,
like,
why do you have modern day superheroes lined up like they're going to do battle in the 18th century?
Exactly. Like we're not standing here with fucking muskets.
Exactly.
That's Iron Man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's Banner and the whole.
Why are you all lined up like that?
Exactly. It was
silly.
just like there was like zero tactical advantage I could provide. It was just literally there for like cinematic effects so that you could see all the heroes at once lined up.
They wanted
like,
Braveheart, dude.
holding the line. Exactly. But like, bro, in what world?
Superheroes.
In what world does Hulk and Iron Man fight like William Wallace?
Yeah.
Like it's just, and so like that really fucked me up.
No, I mean, and even that scene where it's like what all the girl superheroes were like suddenly together and kicking ass as girls. Like they're all like it's like a huge fucking battle with thousands of people, and like all of a sudden all the girls are just kicking ass right next to each other.
It's campy. They hit you with some campiness, bro.
Yeah.
But
seeing it on LSD like that, you're less like, this
bro,
is
Thanos
awesome.
Thanos sacrificing Gamora. There were so many like epic. I mean, bro, the Thanos beating Hulk's fucking ass. Thor showing up at just the right moment. There were so many epic moments in that movie, bro. And I was so fucking high. Like, gangbusters high, bro.
Right.
Like, I mean, I was probably 3 or 4 tabs in watching that shit. And, like, I waited, like, an hour. And then it's a 3-hour movie. So, like, by the end of it, I'm, like, 4 hours in. It's, like, white knuckle in the fucking chair. Just, like, getting jerked around by this LSD.
Yeah, the Star Wars one, that wasn't 4 hours. It was maybe 2.5, I think.
It is right. I don't remember. But definitely.
And, like, I lived right near the theater. I ate the mushrooms, and then I waited 30 minutes and got an Uber and went over there. So I was pretty into it when it fucking... right when it started, I was like, all right, Star Wars.
Just fucking right there in it.
Waiting for this, yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much where I was with the Star Wars, cool. with the Marvel, because I mean that was like they've been building up Thanos for a fucking decade, and I'm like, oh, it's my birthday. Thanos is here.
Oh, you saw it on your birthday too.
Yeah, and like, and I have LSD. Like, the world made this happen just for me. Like,
right.
There's 0% chance
I was just glad to not be dressed up like a shepherd. I was like, oh, good, I'm not a wise man today.
Oh man, that's good shit.
So you were asking, like, that's when mushrooms like kind of became my thing. I guess that's when I kind of realized that every few months I was taking a large dose of mushrooms, 3 to 5 grams every 3 to 4 months.
Yeah. That seems like a pretty healthy cycle.
Right.
I ain't mad at
that.
But
it was back in the time before I even knew what I was actually doing. Which,
you were just dicking around.
Later is when all those studies came out, like from Johns Hopkins University and stuff, and saying, like, this is, like, the best thing for depression and stuff like that. And so it's like, I didn't even know what I was doing, but I just kind of realized it. You'd found
the medicine, and you were
I was self-medicating myself. I was taking 3 to 5 grams every 3 to 4 months, and doing that regularly. And it was just like
washing them bad vibes away.
Yeah,
man.
I feel like shit, man. I've been down for. I'm gonna dose up, and I was doing it, and I didn't realize that I was self-medicating with like the most effective
Yeah.
antidepressant.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
So that's probably when I realized that, yeah, mushrooms were kind of my go-to thing. And
So whenever you got to where you're doing it pretty regularly, and you were just like, it all kind of clicked for you. You realized that you
Yeah.
had been doing something really, really
and
positive.
I'm like,
for your
that's how you're supposed to
Well, it
use
was like,
them.
oh shit, like it just all felt right. Like that's
Right,
the thing
that's
about,
how you're supposed to use them. You're not supposed to use them just fucking to go have a party or whatever. It's like it's a medication.
The thing about like real truthy ass truth is that it's like evident on the inside, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't have to, like, it doesn't have to be put into words. You don't have to conceptualize. It just like feels right. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like it felt right. It was like all of a sudden like, oh shit.
Yeah, most of
these
the time,
things all
I
ping
think
dinged.
I think when most people hear something that is true, it resonates
Yeah,
within them.
exactly.
Whether they realize it or not.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty common with most people,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, so you just experienced that intuitive level of truth with that.
Right.
And so I think that my mushroom circuit is busted. Like, if I'm just being really frank.
I've had another friend that's told me that.
Yeah, like maybe I come out and I eat like 12 grams. You know what I'm saying? Like we fucking sit around the fire and I eat like a half ounce and see what happens. It's pretty much where I'm at. The last time I took it, I took 7 grams and was very much like...
What's going on?
And like my buddies, one took 2 grams and one took an eighth, and there was like a gram and a half left over. It was like a half ounce or whatever it was. I know that like we basically ate it all with the exception of like a gram and a half for like one of them's girlfriend or whatever. But I was like, this is fucking meh, guys, and they're both like,
Right.
oh, this is great. And I'm like, guys, I don't think I even feel anything. Like I like.
But I mean, have you've done mushrooms before and you've felt things?
I mean, I've taken them before, and like it's gotten
It's
like
never been like prolific for
it's
you?
gotten like kind of mellowy and kind of like.
So I think
it's gotten to where like things are kind of like streakishy, but like nothing that's ever like jerked me around. Nothing that's ever like hit me with like intuitive truths on the back end. Like nothing profound.
So that's what I'm
Nothing
saying
profound at
too about like using it as a medication, doing it every once in a while throughout the year. It's not like, I mean, I enjoyed the movie, and when I do mushrooms, I usually enjoy the trip most of the time. But it's never anything like, oh my god, I'm fucking freaking out. It's the after effects. It's how my body feels after, and how my mind is after.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So for, you know, it's like whether you're tripping out or not while you do them, they're still working.
yeah. Oh,
And that's how plant medicine.
Yeah,
I think,
there's
works.
absolutely peripheral benefit, and
that's
you
how
can
the
get those
microdosing
benefits.
thing works. You
Yeah,
know, it's
you-
actually changing the way your brain works.
Yeah, you don't need to have a psychoactively
Right.
effective a dose of mushrooms in order for them to have some type of
Right.
peripheral benefit. But like even like I've gone and like taken them and like taken like 5 grams and like meditated in my bedroom in silent darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Didn't really feel much.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Like.
I mean, I've had trips like that too, where I've taken, you know, a lot and like really not that much happened.
Well, like
But the after effects,
Yeah.
like even weeks after, is like how my body's feeling and how everything is going in my life and like how I'm able to like clarify everything in my brain. You know,
Yeah.
it's the after effects. It's not necessarily the exact trip that you're taking.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's,
No, I co-sign.
That's how they're good.
I
and that's-
co-sign that.
That's
real
why
well.
I like them so much.
Yeah, and you know they like rewire, like, you know, you have like paths of
Yeah.
least resistance in your mind's mind. Like you
And
have
when
like
you do patterns or when you do certain things, it cements that pattern in your brain.
yeah, well, just every time you do it, it creates a path, and so it just becomes less and less resistance, right?
Right.
Every time you do it, the next time it's easier.
Like
and so
smoking cigarettes.
or anything like that,
Or depression.
or exactly
Or anything.
fall into any type of thought loop that you fall into. Every
The
time
kind
you
of
fall into that
pattern
thought
you
loop,
have, and then doing the mushrooms mixes it up. It sends the pathways different ways into your brain and
and you get
rewires
to find
your
a
brain,
new
and
path
you
of
get
least
to-
resistance.
So it's been like the most effective medicine for quitting smoking. It's been one of the most effective medicines for depression. You know, so that's why they're my favorite, is because they're actually super healthy for you.
Well, and
I
there's
don't know LSD You know, like,
Well, so they've done.
does it do the same thing?
So
I don't know.
I mean, they've
I've
shown
had
that
definitely better trips on LSD.
they've shown that there's a pretty clear relationship between taking heroic doses of LSD and circumventing addiction in whatever form that person's experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just jerks you around. It's like you shouldn't be doing that no more. So LSD is good for addiction. MDMA is good for PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
Mushrooms are good for depression. DMT is good for just like flat ass out going and talking to God. Which you said you went to fucking Peru
I did.
and did ayahuasca. I
Yeah.
am dying to hear about this.
Well, I went to Peru and I did ayahuasca. It was cool.
Yeah, I fucking bet. So like, what?
So, do you want to hear more?
Yeah,
No.
absolutely. So like, how did you find this group? Like, did you just do some Googling? How did you how does someone who like from the internet who's never even looked into this like go about trying to create this experience that you had?
Well, so I had heard about ayahuasca and the whole thing.
And for anyone who's unfamiliar with ayahuasca is basically a jungle brew tea that fucking is infused with DMT and an MOAI inhibitor that keeps your body from breaking down the DMT rapidly, so it turns it into like a 3-4 hour DMT
It's the bark of one
trip.
tree and the leaf of another tree that they mix together.
They can also do roots, and so there's several places where they can get it, but the one that y'all did was bark and leaf.
Right. Well, the one that they do in the Amazon is
In Peru.
Yeah, it's the bark of one tree. I believe it might be the roots. I think it's the bark.
Well, I know that the guys who have it locally are able to extract it for some roots. I know that. But so
I mean, I'm sure it's in the whole tree.
yeah. So you went to the place, and this is how they did
So I
it.
went to the place, and there's like legit shamans, you know, that are working there that have been like generational shamans, you know, for generations.
Yeah, their papa's papa
Yeah.
was the medicine man.
So it's a root or a bark from one tree and then the leaf from another tree that they brew together, and one of them is the MOI inhibitor.
It basically keeps your body from breaking it down.
Right. Your stomach has the inhibitor, or has the thing in it that will dissolve the DMT, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So-
Your body eats it up in the stomach really quickly.
Tons of plants apparently have DMT in them.
It's just in trace
But if
amounts.
you eat it, then your stomach acid just doesn't
Eats it away so quickly that
doesn't
you
do
don't get any
anything. You don't do
psychoactive
anything.
effect.
So this leaf from this one tree that's brewed into the drink, you know, and it creates this mixture where your stomach is not going to break down the DMT.
Yeah, exactly.
So you drink it, and at this place that I was at, you're in the dark, but you're like in the jungle, and you're in this thing called a maloka. It's a big circle hut, basically. The sides are screens. It's a thatched roof.
Yeah.
And there's 12 other people in there
Okay.
drinking this, and like 2 shamans.
Okay.
And they give it to you, and you drink it, and you go lay down on the mat, and it takes about 30 minutes for it to kick in.
Yeah.
And so you're just laying down there on the mat, and then the shamans are coming around, and they're singing like ikaros, which are basically like ward away bad spirits and stuff like that.
Like almost like very like rhythmic hymns almost.
Very rhythmic.
Yeah. It's like almost a chant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's kind of weird because it's a big group. So there's 12 people. So they have 2 shamans.
I mean, really 14 counting the shamans, right?
Right.
Okay.
And so then there's the 2 shamans that are going around from each person singing these things. And, you know, while they're singing these things to you, you're supposed to kind of like sit up at your mat, you know, and like kind of get the blessing or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like spraying some stuff on you, you know, and like kind of blowing it on you, and this liquid stuff that smells awful.
Yeah.
Especially after you've already drinking this tea that
Tastes
makes
awful.
you want to puke and shit. And yeah, it's
Did you wind up puking and shitting?
it's the first night that I didn't. The first night that I did it, I did not puke or shit, but the whole time I felt like I needed to, but I just didn't.
Yeah.
It just
understood.
felt like there were snakes crawling around in my belly.
Yeah.
And it's just weird because, like, I don't know, you drink this tea and then you start kind of feeling weird and you're just uncomfortable, and then the shamans are there and they're singing in your face and they're like blowing stuff in you, and it's like, God, gross,
all, like,
man.
very
Like, yeah, they're
it's
like taking a drink of this thing and like blowing
It's
it
all
on
it's all
you.
very
It's, like,
disorienting.
gross. And
Yeah.
the first night that I did it, I didn't even really trip.
Yeah.
I was just like, shit, this sucks, dude.
Yeah, this is just fucking me getting spit on by
Yeah,
Peruvian
like I
dudes.
just paid a bunch of money to come down to Peru so they could like sing some nonsense at me and fucking spit in my face. Like what? And now I feel like shit.
This
But
not
I
sound
can't
the best.
shit.
That sounds
It's not good.
That sounds
dude.
the worst.
And you're in the dark and you're in the middle of the jungle and you're just like, God, this sucks.
It's like a fucking jaguar can come get you at any moment.
Any moment, man. Oh, the only thing protecting you from the jaguars is a screen. And you're like, that's not good
That's
protection.
not anywhere
Yeah.
near
Yeah.
enough protection from jaguars.
Right.
But so was the second night better for you?
The second night was better, but it was also rough. But I actually did like.
Of course, they gave you a stronger dose. So
They gave me a little stronger dose, and I had a pretty prolific experience. But it was weird though, man.
No, tell me about it.
I mean-
like, you're not going to out-weird me, believe me, because I'm going to tell you my stories, and they're going to fucking be right there with
Okay.
you, bro.
All right, so the second night I'm in there, took a bigger dose, and I'm in this maloca, this screen door between me and the jungle, and I start tripping out, and I'm just like hearing all the jungle noises out there.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of noises out there,
You know,
but you're in the dark, man.
And, like, the thing for me is that whenever I take it, like, I can almost, like, hear my voice echoing in my chest. Like, you can feel the vibrations
Yeah.
in there. Is this a shared experience? Did you kind of, like, feel
Well, I
the
could
vibes?
feel my stomach churning because it makes you want to shit and puke.
Okay, so you had tummy feels, not chest feels. Gotcha.
Not necessarily chest feels, but I was just like, oh, God, this is awful, man. So, I went and I shit my brains out because they got a little porta potty right outside the Maloka.
They got to shit your
Yeah.
brain out zone.
Yeah, and they give you a bucket with, toilet paper and stuff, so if you need to puke, you can puke right there and wipe yourself off and whatever. But you're on this little yoga mat, basically. It's like this thing. You're just laying on this hardwood floor on the yoga mat. I'm hearing all the noises from the jungle out there.
Low-key
and,
terrifying.
Yeah, and I swear to God, like, something got murdered right outside where 5 feet from my head. I'm just like, oh, somebody's eating dinner tonight. Like, wow, something's out there.
That fucking jaguar we were talking about
Yeah,
earlier.
dude, like,
got him
there
a fucking monkey,
There were
bro.
some terrifying screams and stuff. I'm just like, whoa, and this is like right as I'm starting to trip out.
Oh my god,
Yeah, and
that's so disorienting.
I'm just trying to close my eyes and just like,
I
all
think that
right,
the
I'm
dis-
safe inside this place.
I
All
think
right,
I think
I'm
the
cool.
disorientation's part of it for them. I think that's like part of how they like instigate the experience. I think that's like intentional. I think they do this
Maybe,
on purpose.
yeah, possibly.
But please continue with your story.
Yeah, anyways, you're just hearing all these weird jungle noises and like the visions that I was seeing, it's like,
Your imagination's running wild.
I mean, it wasn't my imagination, it was the hallucinogenics of
Yeah.
tea.
Yeah, of course.
Which might be my imagination. I don't know.
It's some mingling.
It
right?
felt like I was connected to a higher being.
Absolutely.
And honestly, you go in there with intentions and you like have to set an intent for like what you're trying to achieve for this ceremony. And the first ceremony I set an intent. I didn't trip out, but I got my answer. That's what I was
Nice.
saying about plant medicines. They work even after the trip.
Yeah.
What I was saying with the mushrooms. Same thing with the ayahuasca.
Okay.
The first
beautiful.
one, I didn't trip out. But
Well,
I
well-
went in there with some intentions, and I got my answer over the next couple of days. And then we did phase 2 and go back in there and do it again. And I set my intentions. And some of my intentions for this particular night were, I have a job that I've worked for a long time, and I'm just like, what am I going to do with my life? Should I stay at this job? It's a nice, comfortable job, or should I go out on my own? What do I need to do? So the ayahuasca, like, it starts talking to me. I told you get like a connection. You get a connection to a higher being.
Now, when it's talking to you, is it literal like English verbs, or is it like just
It's
an
in
intuitive
your head.
feeling? It's like an intuitive
It's
feeling.
in your head, so you understand it.
Yeah,
and
like
I
it-
speak English, so it was talking to me in English.
Okay, cool.
But
Yeah.
it wasn't speaking. I couldn't hear audible words.
It
But
was
at
like
the same
it was
time,
like-
it was like a direct fucking
Yeah, it's like-
message
it's
to
like-
me,
yeah.
and it was just like, all right, man, you came to the jungle, you wanted to see some shit, you wanted to get some answers, I'm going to show you some shit.
There you go.
And
Fuck
I was
yeah.
like,
Let's
what?
rock it. Let's rock and roll.
Okay.
Let's rock and roll, motherfucker.
And then, like, all right. And then, because, like, you know, before that, I was just feeling like shit, and I'm like, my stomach hurts. And
all
like,
of a
this
sudden,
is
it's like,
uncomfortable.
all of a sudden, I'm
and then
being
all of a sudden, I
communicated
get this fucking thing telling
Clear
me,
as
like,
day.
you wanted to see some shit? You wanted some answers? I'm going to give it to you.
Buckle
Are you
up.
ready for this? And I'm like,
Like,
yeah, that's what I came here for. It's like, you sure you're ready? And I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. And then it's like, all right, here you go.
Bro, it's so dope that
And
it, like,
then-
ask consent. That's
Yeah,
fucking legit.
it was asking me consent. And it
That's
was like,
fucking
are you sure you're
legit.
ready? I'm going to show you
That's
some shit.
so fucking respectful. That's so respectful.
And then when I was like, yeah, I'm ready. Cool. And then, like, the vision started. It was like snakes eating babies and just fucking, like, the craziest shit, just slithering around snakes and just hallucinating and just like, what the fuck is going on? And in my head, over and over and over, welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games.
Outstanding.
Over and over and over. I'm like, are those
To the-
the only words that I know to this song?
To
It's
the
like,
point that it's
no, you know
torturous.
this other part too. Knees. And I'm like, okay, god damn it, dude. I'm like, fucking.
Maybe go back to Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah, like
Maybe go
shit,
back to Welcome
man.
to the Jungle, man.
And it was like that going on, and then the noise that was out in the jungle was like there were fucking things getting eaten right outside where I was. And it was just like, oh my god, I'm
So it's
seeing
like,
all
welcome-
these
welcome to the
crazy
jungle.
hallucinations. And it was like,
Hallucination.
hey, you came
Jaguars
here.
eating.
You came here for some answers and to see some shit, right? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right, are you sure?
Buckle the
Yeah.
fuck up, buckaroo.
Exactly. And then right when I was like, yes, show me. And it fucking did. And over, just that playlist of just that fucking... Welcome to the jungle, man. We got fun and games. Get down on your knees. You fucking humbled now, and I was fucking terrified
Right?
for like 3 hours.
Yeah, just
And
high.
tripping the fuck out on a little mat in a wooden, shed with screens
Next to jaguars eating their
next to
dinner.
jaguars, and I got shamans that are going around singing songs and spitting on people, and I'm just like, oh my god, dude, what is happening, man? And then finally, when the ceremony is over from the shamans, they're like, we're gonna go, and if you guys want to go back to your cabin, you can. And I'm like, I'm kind of freaking out,
Like, I think I was going to sit right here.
Right, and that's the thing. It was like, well, you could sit right here, but man, that yoga mat's this thin, and you're on a wood floor in the back of your cabin. That's like 200 yards away. You could go back to your cabin and sleep in a bed.
Dude, what type of a journey was did you make the journey?
I was like, all right,
How was
I'll
that?
get up and I'll go back to the cabin. So I walked from the Maloka through the fucking jungle by myself in the dark, tripping the fuck out, and the whole time it was teasing me.
Of course. Yeah, because you came in. Yeah, you came.
Yeah.
You came in fucking hot. And
To
so
walk a 200-yard distance, it took me an hour and a half.
You think that really took that long, or you were just like, that's how long
As
it
far as
felt?
I'm concerned, it took an hour and a half, or
As far as I'm
3
concerned.
days, or 3 days. I don't know.
Some-
The sun never came up,
some-
but it took a long fucking time for me to walk 200 yards because I'm walking through the trail in the jungle, and every root across the trail looks like a fucking poisonous snake. Every plant on the side of the thing is like looking like a poisonous vine, like alien vines trying to get me, dude. And I'm just like, whoa, man, this is crazy.
It's like, holy shit, this jungle wants to eat me.
No shit.
Yeah,
and
and
there
it
was this
does.
one point too where it was like there was no trees overhead, and I'm looking up at the stars and just like, wow, dude, I can't ever see the Milky Way like this. You know?
Yeah,
I'm in the middle of the jungle. It's totally dark out here. There's no moon, nothing. I've
It's like
never seen
maybe
the
some
stars
fucking
like that.
campfires.
Yeah,
burning.
and I'm tripping, so all the stars are shooting stars, every single one of them.
Oh,
It's
beautiful.
just like, wow. But the whole time, I'm also terrified because, like, at any minute, I'm in the jungle. There could
What
be
if
a
a
bug or a spider or
A
something.
fucking anaconda.
Yeah, anything could be out there.
Yeah.
Like, yes, this is a safe place that I went to, and they've never had any accidents. But you are in the fucking jungle,
Like, buddy, that's just because they've only been operating for so long.
Right.
like, give it another few
that's
years.
also only what they tell you.
Yeah, give it 20 years, and someone's getting drug off by that jaguar.
Yeah.
Like, someone's getting got.
So it was just a terrifying walk back to my cabin, which was maybe 200 yards,
Right.
and it took fucking forever. And then when I finally got back to the cabin, it was just like everything stopped immediately. I was not tripping anymore. And then that voice or whatever download came back to me and said, you see, like you could have stayed where you were and you would have been fine. You would have been uncomfortable for a while. You would have gone to sleep. You would have been fine in the morning. Or you could have made the journey and walked through the fucking jungle, and it's going to be hard and it's going to be scary, but then you're going to get somewhere that might be even better than where you were.
Yeah, it's literally a lesson in facing adversity.
It was exactly the thing that I was going in there with that in mind. And it's just so weird that it's like...
It taught, like, all the hallucinating and all the craziness, it taught you the lesson in the walk to the fucking cabin.
Right.
That's fucking dope, bro. That's how that shit works, though.
And it was just like, you can do this or you can do this. Either way, it's going to be fine. If you do one way, it might be better than you thought. You know,
well,
if you go back to your cabin, you can sleep in a nice bed.
Well, I think the thought is you can either stay in an uncomfortable situation because it's slightly guaranteedly more comfortable in the short term.
Yeah.
Or you can go out and put yourself in an uncomfortable position for the sake of attaining something significantly better.
Yeah.
Right? And like...
Or you could die.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
You know,
or
shit.
you could fucking die.
I'm tell you right now, bro, that leopard could have leapt through that fucking screen.
Yeah.
Like nothing stops the leopard when the leopard
True,
comes.
man. There could have been a little fucking spider inside that Maloka.
Exactly.
It doesn't
And
matter.
so...
You could die either way. One way is going to be scary and hard, and then once you get to your destination, you're going to look back and say, like, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Or you could stay where you were, and it might be a little bit uncomfortable, but it's also going to end up okay.
Worth it. Yeah.
Either way, it's worth it.
Yes.
So you just need to decide what's better for you. What do you need to do?
Yeah.
And so, you know.
I think at that point it makes it really easy to go after the bigger goals because you know it's going to be fine either way. Right? Like if you know...
Yeah, but I didn't.
Well,
yeah.
Well, but at the end of the day, like, you were able to be comfortable. Like, and you knew it was going to be okay either way. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was fine. Like, bro, you're here now, enjoying yourself. Everything's fucking perfect, bro.
I mean, at that time, I went home back to Texas and I didn't go after bigger goals. I stayed where I was with this job that, you know, sometimes it's uncomfortable, but, dude, I'm getting all my needs met, and right now my needs are also, you know, not as great as what my daughter needs, which I got to stay at this job and make sure I can help her out. Once she's taking care of herself, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
So
think
waiting in this place might be a little bit uncomfortable and whatever, but you know, in the long run, it doesn't matter which choice you make because either way, it's gonna work out in the end. That's what it was teaching me, and
That's
it taught
a
me that
fucking banger,
in a very
bro.
fucking clear way.
That's a banger, bro.
And it was like scary and intense, like welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games.
Dude, so
It was nuts.
I'll tell you about my DMT experience.
All right.
Since you went out on a limb and told me all about yours. So, I'd already had, like, the most heroic psychedelic experiences that you could ever want before I ever found DMT. And so, I had kind of heard through, like, different conversations throughout my time that, like, all these different drugs, all these different psychedelics that you can take a heroic enough dose of that will ultimately lead to ego death are all just different avenues to the same end goal. And that once you experience ego death and like what makes you dissolves, you're effectively in like that egoless state, and it's all the same at that point. So DMT is like a bullet train, LSD is like fucking taking a fucking spaceship cruise, and mushrooms is like taking a hike through the woods. You know what I'm saying? Like they all are, but like at the end of the day, they're all going to get you where you're going.
Right.
And it's just a matter of like what type of scenery you want to look at on the route. And I was like, all right, let's fucking test that. Like, I know what ego death feels like. Let's fucking do that then. And I tried to hit it several times, bro, and I could not. It tasted so bad. It tasted like mothballs, bro. It was the worst. I could not dab it. And so what I did is I got some hash, and I mixed it about 2-to-1 hash to DMT. Mm-hmm. And was able to cut it with some hash. And was dabbing it. And, like, after the first dab, like, I feel really heavy. You know what I'm saying? Like a weight's on my chest, and I can kind of like hear my voice like rattling in my rib cage. Mm-hmm. I can kind of like feel my voice bouncing off the walls and bouncing back and impressing on my epidermis. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like I was very connected with the vibes. The second dab, all of a sudden, like you're really heavy. Like you're like really, really heavy. Like, almost like, this is weird. I don't know if I like this. Like, this is, I don't know. And then the third dab, it's like you're being rattled at the bone marrow. Mm-hmm. It's like God's got you by the fucking spinal cord and is going to you. It literally feels like you're on top of a rocket ship that's like got the pilot light lit. You can feel it going. You take that fourth hit, hold it in. Obviously, all of them you hold in as long as you can, but that fourth hit, you hold it in. You let whoever take the bong and dabber from you, just sit back and hold it in. And I blasted through, like, all of the traditionally described places that people describe in DMT trips. Mm-hmm. Like, the elf room, the, like, fucking, the gold, the, like, golden amorphous orbs, all the spaces, crossing through the chrysanthemum, all the things that, like, people talk about, but I just blasted right through them. Like, fucking paid them no attention. It was like, fucking going to the end of this. And I got there, and the only way that I can describe it is like it's what it's like to be Galactus. You know who Galactus is? Galactus is obviously like a Marvel character. He's and he's the last living thing in the universe. Okay. As the universe compresses in on itself during the big crunch and it big bangs again, and when it big bangs again, right, his mind is effectively connected to like every single piece of matter that there is. Every rock, that's Galactus. Every blade of grass, that's Galactus, and it's all Galactus. And I was Galactus, bro. And like, I've never watched any, I've never read any comic books, but like that message, like this is what it's like to be Galactus, kept beaming into my fucking head while I was out there. I don't know why, but like whenever I got back, I looked up Galactus and saw what I just told you. Like that was something I read after I was told this is what it's like to be Galactus.
That's funny, dude. Yeah. It's like you should look into Galactus.
Yeah, exactly. Type shit. It's like, hey man, this is what it's like.
It's telling you what to do.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even necessarily. It was just like this is like if you. It was literally just giving me like an anchor point so that I could because I think it ultimately. It's all one thing. Like, I am it is me. And so it knows that I like to be able to talk about this shit. And so whenever I go, I get weird little nuggets of, like, shareable information that make these experiences relatable. Yeah. And, like, the Galactus nugget is, like, a really good nugget. Like, bro, if you can imagine what it's like to be Galactus, that's what it's like at the end of a DMT trip. Yeah. And, yeah, you get it. You've seen the thing. You've been to the mountaintop, man.
I just like that it teaches you things, and whether it is like an outside entity that's teaching you something because you've gotten to that
it's the galactic consciousness, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. Like what they call it in Peru is it's Mother Ayahuasca. Yeah. It's a separate entity.
Well, so
and it felt like a separate entity. It didn't feel like my thoughts.
So my thing is that, like, although it can be perceived separately, like, bro, all things are one. Like, if you can imagine, like, you've seen the images of the universe, right? Like the measurable universe, like they've looked out in every direction and they've got like the boundaries of it to like what we can measure, and it's just like a whole bunch of stars, right?
Yeah, I've seen pictures.
Well, like just imagine zooming that out to the point that all those things that we can measure are just one point. And that's the Big Bang. And that's what we are right now to something far enough out, bro. Like the lines of separation that we experience are fucking make-believe, bro. Like me and you are one living organism, bro. Yeah. We literally, like, you know, whenever like they've proven scientifically that that animals know when they're being watched, that's because the thing that compels them on the back end, what Christians call the Holy Ghost, what I call the galactic consciousness, think of it like a fucking solid state drive for a computer, and we're all programs running on that solid state drive, bro. And so whenever I'm staring at your back, you have access to the files being uploaded to you on the back end through me. You feel me? Yeah. And so it's literally like that, like you literally have access to the information on the back end, even if you're not able to necessarily channel it into this meat sack. There's still like that intuitive level of understanding because you are the galactic consciousness, and the galactic consciousness is that thing. And so you deep down know that you're being watched. And that's how it's like, I don't think I like that at all. And so I don't remember where I digressed from, how we got to this point, but like I feel like we've gotten a bunch of truth out. Like that's all truth.
I feel like we
were talking
about galactic.
We were talking about the Galactus experience, and so
I like that when you zoom out from the known universe.
We're just a point
If
source
you
of light.
zoom out far enough, it's just one tiny little thing.
We
and
are the Big Bang.
It still
incarnate.
is the Big Bang.
Yes.
It still is happening right
Yes.
now.
If you can put yourself far enough out and look back, we are literally
It's
the
still
Big Bang.
happening right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Gang,
I
gang,
never
ho.
even thought of it like that.
Yeah, bro. I've seen some shit.
Because I've only thought about it as being so fucking big.
Yeah.
I never thought about it as it's still small.
You
if
gotta
you're far
think. You
enough
gotta.
out.
You gotta think
If
about.
you're far enough out, it's still fucking tiny.
Bro, you gotta think about the void space from which it all emerges from. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. That's
kind of
that's where I party, bro. I'm like,
yeah.
but so I like Silver Surfered around and like went and like, bro, watched fucking galaxies collide, bro. Like watched fucking things that took place for thousands of years just happen in instances, bro. Like literally got to see like the life and deaths of stars, bro. Like the coolest shit. Like why don't you come back and check out what's happening on Earth? Like, bro,
Why?
Like, are you fucking kidding? Who wants
Why?
to come back and watch this little soap opera
Yeah,
when
you
I can?
think I want to see some fucking koalas eat shit out of their assholes?
I can literally go watch fucking solar systems collide with one another. You have no idea what it looks like whenever two fucking planets fucking smash into one another. Shit is tops, bro. Fuck what's going on here. But I start coming back and it has like this distinct feeling of falling.
Mm-hmm.
And when I make it back to the room, I can see everything, but it has like this like weird emanating Fabergé egg art, like tiger stripes of that are like wiggling and moving that are just like, it's like normal, and then the next stripe is like fucking Fabergé egg art that's like bleeding in from the higher dimension. Normal tiger stripe, normal tiger, and it's just like all like kind of moving and wiggling. But I can clearly make out the surfaces of everything, and I'm looking at my cousin, and he's standing there stroking his beard. And I open my eyes, and he's still sitting there stroking his beard. And in that moment, I realized that I had just been actively looking at and observing the room through my third eye. Like, watched him stroking his beard, and like opened my eyes, and he was still doing it. Like, complete immersion, just like no difference in eyes open and closed at that point. It was pretty nuts.
Yeah, man, that is one of the craziest thing about like most of these drugs, the psychedelics, is that you just see things that you wouldn't normally see.
My thing
I
is,
remember one time, like I was on some acid, and I, did one of these to see the tracers on my hand, and I stopped myself because it was like, oh, I can see right through my hand. I can see what's on the other side of that hand, like.
yeah,
Could see right through it.
yeah, trippy, bro.
It's like, what the fuck is happening?
Bro, one time on LSD, we had a remote control called the OG remote, and it was for our old PS3, and it was like the original remote that had come with my cousin Jeremiah's PS3, and it had been dead for years. Hadn't turned on in 2 years. Jeremiah had done like pulled the buttons off and like put them in different spaces to be like a troll, and it was just like an old art piece at that point. And we were playing video games, and I looked down, and I was playing with the OG.
Yeah.
And it was on, bro. Like, actually
Just
working, like,
working.
with a full charge. And, like, I swear to God, it's like that remote control turned into lightning in my hand. Just, I just had to let it go. And, like, to this day, that remote still works. And it didn't work for almost 2
dude.
years.
That's
And,
yeah. There's some weird shit that happens, man, and it's unexplainable.
Well, one of the last things I want to talk about, because we do have to wrap it up, is when you're talking about how you see things that you wouldn't typically see. My thing is that, and this is something I talk about on a bunch of the podcasts, is that whenever we're experiencing stuff right now, we're passing it through the filter of 30 years or 40 years of experience, right? Like we have our entire life that, like, the moment that, like, something happens, it immediately goes, pass it through this web and, like, make sense of it, right? You have an entire lifetime of experience to pass a moment through. Then you have an entire rest of your life worth of expectations that you're trying to put it up against and measure with. Like, every moment, it's like, how does that relate to the past? What does this look like for the future, right? It's like a normal human function that everybody goes through. If you just stop that, if you just stop thinking about the past, stop thinking about the future, and emphatically focus on here and now, you can see the face of God in the lead of a pencil. I'm telling you. Like, all these states of mind that we're talking about are absolutely attainable through proper meditation. And I'm telling you, the big key to it is letting go of the past and the future and being, like, in the perfect flow state right here, right now, letting what's happening wash over you and experience it. Because, like I'm telling you, bro, the logic crunching part of our brain, the thing that makes words and symbols and gives us a flashing series of images, that's a thing that our body does automatically so that our ego has something to relate to. But I'm telling you right now, our brains have a much greater capacity for logical computation and reasoning than our ability to articulate it to ourselves meets. Like, if we're limited by our ability to articulate our understanding to ourselves, then we're putting a big limiter on ourselves. There's much more understanding, and it's much more robust than what we're able to communicate to ourselves.
For sure.
So stop trying to do that.
Yeah.
Be here now and enjoy the motherfucking ride.
Yeah, what else can you do, man?
Well, I think that's a great place to fucking end the podcast, man. It's been a fucking dope-ass ride. This has been a great pod, bro. I really enjoyed it.
All right, man.
Looking forward to the next one, man.
Yeah.
Dude, got 2 in. Got a Shut Up, You'll Listen with Mikey.
Cool.
Got a fucking Once Who Woke Up with me, bro. We're going to have to do this again.
Let's
this
do
is
it again. I
what's
mean,
gonna
I
happen-
only told you about 2 of the 4 ayahuasca experiences I had. So,
Well,
yeah.
Oh, so there's still a whole other
there's still
episode
another
right there.
episode right there.
What's going to happen is we're going to go fucking do mushrooms and fucking bang on drums around a fire between here
That
and there.
sounds
And
great,
we're going to
man.
fucking game plan our next episode.
Yeah.
But at any rate, everybody at home, thank you so much for tuning in. You guys rock. We'll catch you on the next one. This is Joshua.
Jesse.
Bang, bang. Gang, gang. Peace, dudes.
Monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth.